Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Signature Sip podcast. And today we have something super special for you guys. We are going to show you one of our behind the scenes team members that works on all of our social media, is one of the people behind this podcast. And she's going to come on here and talk about her journey as a social media strategist and marketing person and what she does for the company, so you guys can get some tips and tricks for yourself and hopefully inspire you to also outsource and market and bring on some awesome team members. So Nino, say hello.
Hey guys, excited to be here. And yeah, I'm usually behind the camera, so I'm excited to kind of share my knowledge with the audience, and yeah,
it's going to be
hopefully
awesome.
It helps someone.
Yeah, so let's talk about your journey. Like, how did you end up doing our strategy for social media and marketing at Signature Realty?
Like the very beginning, because I have a long story.
Just make it brief.
Yeah, make it brief.
How did you first get hooked up with Michelle?
With Michelle?
Yeah.
At the time, my fiance wanted to get into real estate. And we had met with one of his family friends in New Jersey. And he was in real estate himself. And so he was kind of telling us about things. And then he said, oh, you know, there's this one woman in, the markets here, and she's like killing it. And for reference, at the time, I had just quit medical school. And I was basically trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life, because I knew that that was not what I wanted to do for sure. And he pulled up this article, and it might have been one of Michelle's first articles where she was featured in front of Signature. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, I'm super young, in my early 20s. And I thought, wow, like that's inspirational. And I wasn't really exposed to the real estate world also growing up, but I just remember seeing that and I was just inspired. And so when I knew that we were going to have to be moving to Jersey from Brooklyn because he was going to be pursuing real estate, I was like, okay, well, I can't move unless I have a job lined up. Like, I'm not moving, right? Because I need to make sure I have a job. I was like, all right, he told me about Michelle. Like, so I was like, okay, how do I get myself in contact? Like, I want to work for this woman. Like, if I don't work for this woman, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if I'm going to move to Jersey, basically. And I went on the Signature website, tried to find careers. There was nothing listed there.
We're not hiring.
We're not hiring except for real estate agents.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, well, maybe I'm just going to put in a request and then I'll explain my situation. I wrote an entire paragraph into the comment section and I sent it. And then literally that same exact day at nighttime, I think it was like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, I get a text directly from Michelle. And I was like, oh my God. I said, do you remember that woman on the magazine? She answered me, but she texted me. The company didn't reach out. She texted me. So I was so excited. And she's like, can you meet on Monday? And I had another job that I was working at in between after I left medical school that was just kind of there to just have some money. And I was like, yes, I can meet you. Mind you, I did not have my own car at the time.
You were in Jersey already?
I was in Brooklyn.
Oh, you were in Brooklyn.
I was living in Brooklyn. I did not have my own car at the time. I had a job that I had to go to on Monday. I basically told them, like, I'm so sorry, I'm sick, I can't make it in. It was a 3-hour trip from Brooklyn on the train and on the bus to get to the Signature office in Springfield. And I came into
how did you get from the train station to the office? Did you take a cab or something?
No, I took the train to Port Authority, and from there I got on a New Jersey bus that stops at different towns.
Got it. Okay.
And I got off at Springfield.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I walked to the location. And she texted me and she's like, hey, can we actually push our meeting back? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Because I was just so happy. And I'll never forget this. So you know that building that was right next to the Signature office that had like the outside area with the picnic tables?
Yeah. The little historic building?
And I was like, this is actually a good thing. I went there, I sat outside, and I literally just practiced affirmations. And I said, I'm going to come out with a job. Like, but mind you, I have no idea if she even is going to hire me. I mean, she's thinking I applied to be an agent. And like, I need a job though. So
like
I met
a salaried
with her,
job.
a salary job. Yes. So go into the office, I meet with her. We instantly connected. I was in there for like an hour, I think. And at the end of it, and I told her like my whole situation. I told her also like my skills. So like, yes, I went to medical school, but I actually have a degree in art. So I'm very creative, and I started to kind of just pick up on marketing through stuff that I was doing on my own. And so I showed her that. And I also did have marketing and a little bit of sales experience because I worked at a high-end jewelry store in Soho when I was in school. So I did, marketing, I did event planning. I basically did all of that just at a smaller scale. So I said, look, this is what I have to offer, and I would love to work for you. I am like a sponge, so whatever you teach me, I will absorb and learn. You just got to give me some time. And she said, I really want to bring you on, and I'm willing to take you on, but I can only give you a part-time job. And I got so sad because I was like, I would love to. I literally can't even survive on part-time, so I can't come here. Mm-hmm. She took like 2 minutes, and she's like, all right. She goes, I've never done this in my life. And she's like, I'm willing to give you a full-time job with me, but with a 30-day probation. I said, I'll take it, and you will never regret this. Mm-hmm. So I took it. We moved to Jersey on my 30-day probation, by the way. But I'm like, but I know it's going to work. Like, right. I know I'm a hard worker. I know confident, that. Yeah. Yes, I'm confident in my ability to pick up skills and then keep going with them. So I took it. And then after 30 days, I was like, so do you still want me? Obviously, I stayed. But I share that because
you took your shot.
I took my shot, and I've never been exposed to real estate, like I mentioned before. And so working under Michelle changed a lot of things for me and for my life and how I saw it going. It opened up a whole new world that I never knew existed, that was actually real. And not to mention, she also invested a lot into me, and I learned a lot. So I came in with the skills I had, but I advanced my skills on top of that.
That's Michelle's thing, marketing and branding.
Yes. And so when she brought me on 3 months right before she launched her team. So I've been there since the beginning of that, which is also exciting to see that. And even today, right, you see MPG and Michelle Pais group on billboards and in magazines, and her name, anyone who's anyone in the industry, I would say in the New Jersey market, knows who Michelle Pais is, right? Or who MPG is. And to have personally seen that from the ground up is something that I don't take for granted, and I think is extremely special. And I have said this to Michelle as well. I will always have respect for her as a woman because I literally saw what she put into it to make it what it is today, and seen the grind, because I was in her office. My desk was right next to her desk. So I saw her day to day. She was in the office every single day, right? Like constantly on listing appointments, constantly everything. And we lived literally a 5-minute walk from the office. And sometimes I'd be like, I remember one time we went to the Walgreens, which is right across the street. It was like nighttime. And it's 9 p.m. And I look at the office and the lights are on. I'm like, wow, she's in her office at 9 p.m., And then it makes sense when you grow up. I come from a background of you only get things in life if you screw people over, or you only get somewhere if
you're given it.
There's no such thing as actually like working your way or achieving something without having screwed someone over, done something messed up. And when you actually work next to someone that is a top producer, and you see their day to day and you see the behaviors, the characteristics, the habits, you really understand it. Because a lot of times when you see top producers, when they've already achieved certain accolades, people just look at that and they say, oh, I want to be like her. And it's not fair. Like, you know, how did she get all of this like overnight? But the truth is, it wasn't overnight. It was years and years and years and years. And even when I met Michelle, she was doing that even years before I met her. You know, I just happened to meet her before, when she couldn't even handle it anymore as a solo agent, and she had to start a team.
Right.
And saw that from the ground up.
And not many people get to experience that.
Right.
Because it's undeniable. And you're like, okay, hard work pays off.
Correct.
Right. If you put in the work and you put in that effort, and she's also made a lot of investments, and you've seen that too. Right.
Yeah.
Not just in employees, but also marketing and branding and spending money and taking that risk. And I've always felt that with Michelle, that was a big thing that was very different from her than even other people that were kind of up and coming, is that she wasn't scared to make that investment in her brand. Yeah, and now a lot of those things, you see the rewards from that.
Right.
But they don't realize the work ethic that came before.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but I think we used to spend, and this is almost 6-7 years ago, $6,000 to $8,000 a month on just EDDMs.
Oh yeah.
We were doing EDDMs to Westfield, Mountainside,
Scotch
Summit,
Plains.
Scotch Plains, yep. Chatham, everywhere. And then we did the like folders, right? I mean, we were doing everything. We were doing
Billboards.
Ads. Yes, she brought someone in to teach me how to do Facebook ads, right? So she constantly invested in that because she believed in that. And yeah, you get to see the fruits of the labor that you put in, right? It didn't just happen overnight. She didn't just wish it into existence. It was actual work involved.
Hard work.
Hard work, yes.
Time.
Yes.
Years.
Another, moment that is also really funny to look back on now. So at the time, again, I was young. And so my husband and I decided we were going to move to Colorado. That's why I ended up leaving Signature at one point. And right before we were leaving, I did have a moment of hesitation. One of the main reasons is because a month before I think the decision happened, we decided also that we were going to launch our own magazine. And I was so excited for that because I was going to lead it. And it was such a cool project. We started working on it, but then obviously I moved. Long story short, when I came back to Signature, and this year specifically, we literally finally completed
the launch of the magazine.
The unfinished project.
You're like, I'm going to finish this.
Yes, exactly. So then I remember when Michelle was like, so we're finally going to do this. I said, are you sure? And she's like, yeah. I said, this is like the best feeling ever because it was something that was started, never came to fruition. I came back and then we started our own magazine, and which I have been, heavily invested in. And it's exciting to see the journey and the story. And I think that's why I'm always so fascinated with people's stories. And I look at real estate in the same factor, where it truly is not transactional, and it's not about the money that you're going to make, even though, yes, that part is great. But I tend to find that the people that are succeeding in this business are the people that truly have a passion for it and a passion for helping people. And they have a bigger why, and they're able to share that why with the people that they're close with and their audience, right? Because people like to do business with people they like.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, you had a journey. You started out, you took your shot. Michelle hired you. You grew in that role.
Yep.
You learned a lot. Then life happened. You moved.
Life happened, yes.
Good way to put it, right? Life happened. You moved to Colorado.
Yep.
You came back.
Yep.
Wait, how did that happen though when you came back? Did you reach out first? I can't remember. Because I remember that we had a call.
Yes.
Right?
So
you're like, I'm coming back.
When we got to Colorado, I actually ended up losing my grandma 3 months into it, and that was hard. And then when that happened, I guess I started to look at life a little differently. And I, at the time I didn't have kids, but I knew I wanted kids, and my whole family was on the East Coast. And it's like, what am I doing? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, when I do have kids, I want my mom to be around. I want my sister to be around. I want my cousins to be around. I want family to be there. And we moved to Pennsylvania initially. And then when I got pregnant with my second baby, I was like, I need help. We need to get back closer. So we finally moved back to Jersey. And when I knew I was going to be moving back to Jersey, I was like, I have to reach out. But I was so scared to reach out because, life happened, and, Signature grew so much, and I knew she had already, had a big team. And, but I always followed along. I loved what you guys did. And again, regardless of the fact that I moved and I had other jobs, Michelle was still somebody I respected very highly because she was the person that gave me a chance, right? And it changed the trajectory of my life. And I will forever be grateful for that. So when I reached out, I said, hey, I can't remember exactly, but something along the lines of, I just wanted to say, like, I love everything you've been doing. You're still like someone that is super inspirational to me, and I'm going to be coming back to Jersey. I would love to know if I could work at Signature. And I wasn't sure exactly what role. I was actually thinking about maybe real estate, or I wasn't sure, but I knew I wanted to get back into the Signature ecosystem, even just as an agent, right? To hang my license with. Because I didn't have my license anywhere in Jersey. So we met up, obviously, and I kind of told her where I'm at and what I'm interested in doing. And then obviously you guys offered me a marketing position for not the team, but for Signature, the brand. That was extremely exciting for me because it opened up, I guess, the possibilities and what I'm able to do at the company at a more macro scale, and that excites me.
It's a different role.
Mm-hmm. Even though I loved being, doing the marketing for a team, and I worked for another team in Pennsylvania as well, doing operations. It was operations/marketing. I already knew the business in and out so well, but that position is very task oriented. And even though I do a lot of tasks in my role today, I do have a little bit more freedom to be creative.
Yeah, it's more administrative.
Yes.
And transaction oriented.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Like posting listings and
correct. Yes.
marketing those and
inputting the
stories.
listing, marketing the listing. It's all about the home. Yeah, you're right. It's more transactional.
It's more administrative and transactional.
Yes.
Versus a macro marketing position.
Correct.
And brand, really branding.
Branding. Yes.
Branding, social media.
Yeah.
Because
right now with marketing, and it's funny, like marketing is not just one thing. I look at marketing as a ecosystem that is made up of social media, which is just one aspect, events, digital events, and print media. Well, so digital marketing is email campaigns and SMS campaigns, essentially. So, and how do those four work together to influence your target audience to get a particular type of message or message, or how do you influence your ideal avatar to do what you want them to do?
Yeah.
to get to the result that you're seeking.
Yeah, whether it's an event or taking action on something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With listings, you know what's going to happen, right? You get the listing, you input it into the MLS, you market it, meaning you
got to make it look pretty.
Have a great open house.
Yeah, there's a lot of details
on social media.
But
house
they're more,
is most likely going to sell, right?
It's more repetitive type of.
Correct.
You know, it's a lower level marketing position.
The day doesn't change, right? You're doing the same tasks, and the only thing that changes is the address and the photos.
Yeah, the most exciting thing about that role is really the marketing to bring in business, right? Because there you have to be creative, and you need to get really creative when it comes to that.
Right.
But Signature, that's all it is.
Yes.
The whole role is around, I mean, how many events are we putting on?
Yeah.
I mean, everything that we're doing, you know, the magazine. You know.
Correct. Both roles to me, they are similar and they do overlap. They're just done at different scales. And that's why I say when in my role now, it's more about the macro. It's just that the macro of a team is slightly different.
And it's smaller.
Right.
Right. Especially on Michelle's team, because she wasn't really recruiting a lot of people.
Correct.
Right. So at Signature Realty, you know, we're telling agent stories. We're putting out a lot of videos with Joey, and we're sharing a different, more macro message. We're doing first-time homebuyer seminars. We're doing investor seminars.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much that we do that allows you to be very creative. And I think every brand, maybe not every agent, right? Mm-hmm. But every brand or big team needs to have a Nino, needs to have somebody that is focused on the social media strategy, on, you know, what the messaging is, driving traffic, looking at metrics around everything digital, email open rates, getting lists, marketing to the ideal avatar. How can we make them feel special and have a great experience? How can we give them value? What can we do over here? What can we do over there? How can we improve this? And constantly, you know, back testing and auditing and, you know, doing all those things to help make that better.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people, at least agents or team leaders, probably don't have that role. Right. And you know, what's so funny about this to me is that you met Michelle. This all started because you met Michelle through her branding.
Yeah.
Right. She had an article
in a magazine
featured.
Yeah.
And how many agents do that? Not many.
No.
Right. Michelle would consistently do her best to put herself out there and, you know, be the agent.
Right.
You know, whatever that was. In the beginning, it was Springfield, New Jersey. She started at a little condo complex and she wanted to be the agent for that condo complex that she lived at. And then she expanded to the rest of Springfield, crushed it,
right,
dominated the market share in Springfield. And then finally, you know, started expanding out. You know, we built the team. When I met her, she was just focused primarily on Springfield.
Yes, she was.
You know,
she owned
that was her
Springfield.
Oh, she was the agent. There was like nobody else.
I remember I shadowed her on one listing. I mean, I think it was maybe more than one listing, but I shadowed her. I went to a listing with her, and the seller already knew who she was, how many properties she sold. I mean, she basically just walked in there just to get the signature on the listing contract.
Yeah. And that's called context and branding, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are pitching themselves instead of it being sold. Michelle's always done a good job of positioning herself as the sale gets made before you get there.
Correct.
A lot of people don't understand the concept of that, and it costs a lot of money and it requires branding.
Yeah.
I remember, Joey, when we were doing the tour videos. Remember that one video you have of Michelle when I first met her?
Oh, yeah. Chris did that,
Yeah. And we were doing like tour videos of her in front of the houses. Nobody used to do that back then.
No.
Right? And I remember that because I was there for it because my brother was doing the video with Joey. And she had a funny moment on camera saying something to me. But you know, those are the things that I think differentiated her and, taking on somebody, it's hard to say, I'm going to be responsible for paying somebody's salary. Right. That's why she was probably nervous. Like, I just want somebody part-time. It's not going to cost me that
100%.
much.
And I understood that.
Yeah.
That I didn't even take it personally. I understood that because I have always worked for like mom and pop places.
Right.
So I understood that.
Yeah.
It's
a big investment.
It's not like
it's a
it was
big commitment.
I
both
didn't think
ways.
it was a personal decision that she was making, or that it was, something personally towards me. All I knew was like, I understand that this is a big risk for her. It's a big risk for me because guess what? She can hire me today, and then the team starts, and we hear this all the time, right? I am sure you have been preview to it. I have as well, where teams start. It goes great in the beginning. Everyone's taking their team photos and they're doing all the exciting things, which is, here's our logo, here's our colors, here's our photo. I started a team.
And 6 months later, it's gone.
6 months later, it's gone.
Yeah. No, yeah. And it's a risk.
Right.
But knowing Michelle and knowing of her and all the things, she banked on herself, and I highly recommend anybody to take that as advice. Like, look at it. At Signature Realty, we're really lean, but we have a small amount of people that we pay as well as we can.
Right.
And we have 5 employees. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize that. And then we have some VAs, but they're overseas. So, it's a little bit different. That investment is much different.
Right.
We have 3 full-time VAs outside. So we try to run a lean ship, but that's how important the role is, right? The roles that we have are the most important roles, right? To be able to grow and share the story and do what it is that we do.
Right.
Same thing with the videography, and, everything kind of works because of that. But, what tips do you have? That's good for big brands. What tips can you give, like some of the agents and some of the real estate agents that are watching the podcast, from either a social media standpoint or a macro level? Where should they start? They're invisible. Nobody really knows them that well. Maybe they've done some deals. They have their own social media account, but like, they're pretty much invisible if you look at the whole marketplace, right?
Right.
So what are some tips and tricks that you have for them? Or where should they start?
I would say that if they are in a position where they are starting to think about hiring someone.
Should they hire an agency or should they hire an individual?
That's actually where I was going with it. I think that if you are a bigger company, then an agency might be a better place if you want more generic content. But I think that in real estate, because it's so personal and it's so relationship based, and as we know, people want to know the realtor that they're working with, right? And that's why referrals are such a big source of leads for people. It might be more advantageous for you to hire someone that is younger, that has an interest in marketing or real estate. Maybe it's not marketing, but they have an interest in real estate and they do have a little bit of a creative bone in their body where they can help you do the administration tasks and give them the freedom to explore their creativity as they learn the industry and as they learn your brand and how you want to make people feel. When I was starting out, I always thought that marketing was all about your logo, your colors, and the website that you have. I am in a place now. I've been in marketing for almost 10 years. That is usually what actually comes last. Those are the things that they're the least important, right? Because no one is going to not work with you because your logo was blue and not green, or because your logo had a bow in it and not just your name, right? Those are just the things that people get caught up in. Marketing to me is, how does your brand make others feel? Because if you can elicit the exact emotion that you want people to feel when they think of you or they think of your brand, you have accomplished marketing, right? So if you are a one-man show selling real estate and you want to hire just one person, bring someone on that you can coach, but does have some talent, right? In the creativity department, I think that's necessary.
And pay for some of their development.
And pay for some of their development.
Right. We're still doing that.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's probably the best thing that you can possibly do, in my opinion.
And people do, we do that a lot at Signature Realty, in the sense that if somebody wants to do something, we can help them with it. And we've gone to events and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Even in the beginning, we used to go to Gary Vaynerchuk.
Agent 2021, yes.
Yeah, we went to Gary V's Miami event. We paid for everybody to go out to there and their flights and all that. But even now, just last week, we purchased Alex Hormozy's $24,000 program.
Right.
Where we have 6 intensives with him, Layla, Sharon, and the other people on the team, and all their stuff for their marketing and their funnels and all that stuff. You have to invest in your people.
Yeah.
Right. So they don't need to be perfect.
Right.
Right. Signature Realty is, we're not a public company. You want to work with people that are going to be loyal. Yeah. And that they care about what it is that you're doing, and that their message aligns with your values and vice versa.
Correct.
And you can grow together. We've always believed in that,
I like what you said. I think it's loyalty and it's transparency. I oftentimes feel from conversations with friends or, family, just outside, you'll interview, and the company will basically hype themselves up, and they'll tell you all these amazing things. I mean, even brokerages do that too, right? When they're recruiting agents, right? If you come here, you're going to be a top producer. How can they guarantee that?
Right. They're over-promising.
They can, right? They're over-promising and under-delivering. But when you have very transparent conversations, and this goes back to like when I got hired with Michelle, we sat in that office for an hour, not because we were just like having fun. It's because she was explaining to me exactly
the situation,
to the T, her situation, what she's looking for, what this is going to require, what kind of tasks this is going to involve.
No bait and switch. No, like, oh, we're awesome. The role's going to be so fun.
Right. No, and she
it's like, you're going to do all this shit.
Right. She was even also hesitant to bring me on. Now that we're talking about this, I've just remembered this, because she's like, I think that you are a marketing person. Oh, you know what? She was going to hire an executive assistant or an assistant, something like that. And she's like, what if you are not going to be able to do the tasks? And I said, the tasks? I said, that's easy. I said, you just check them off. Like, I don't mind doing that. She's like, I just don't know if you really want to do that. She's like, it sounds like, she's like, you're really creative. I said, I know that. But I said, I'm okay starting and doing this and taking on a position where half of my time is going to be spent on tasks, because I understand that I'm taking on a position where I'm just starting out.
Right.
Because
so
I
essentially
don't know the
she
industry.
Rolled in an administrative position and added responsibilities of marketing in it.
Yes.
And then, and that's a really good tip for people. Sometimes they hire an admin person, but they don't really have any marketing skills.
Correct.
So get an admin person that enjoys social media and likes to check, likes to do that and create stories and all that stuff that's going to help you with some of the branding and the marketing piece.
Correct.
And then they'll evolve, and then you hire an admin separately.
Yeah.
And then that person continue evolving in the branding and marketing piece. Yeah.
I think as a business owner, and I think you speak on this as well, is if you're going to bring someone into your business, you want to make sure that they share the same values as you, they understand your vision, and that they're as excited about your vision as you are as the business owner. I think that's also very important. I don't think that I would have been able to advance my skills or grow or even, for example, want to come back, right? To take on more responsibility if I wasn't excited about this position and
what
the
we were
vision
doing
of the branding and the company and what we're building and what we're doing. Yeah.
And it's interesting because we are very transparent, right?
Yes.
With the people that we have such a small team from a perspective of leadership and employees that we are probably the most transparent that you could possibly be. We tell it how it is, that's for sure. And I think that's good for everybody to understand what the expectations are, and also like, what's the direction all the way down to profitability, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what is making the company profitable. These are the things that we've experienced that we thought they were going to make the company profitable. Not so much though. And you go learning and evolving. And I think that's something that's unique about how we do things. And, maybe it doesn't work all the time, but I think it's good where everybody on the team can help, get to what the vision actually is. Because like as the CEO, as the owner of Signature Realty, Michelle and I always brainstorm and stuff, but at the end of the day, we're figuring things out as we go, right? To make things better for everybody and how to make things the best that we possibly can. And I'd rather the team help us figure that out than just us try to do it on our own. Because a lot of people forget, like, we're, like Michelle has a lot of experience in real estate and she's done a really great job as a top producer. And, I've done a bunch of stuff and, I have a few successful businesses, but, a lot of people fail to realize even like people that are on somebody's team, it's like, this is their first time doing it.
Yeah.
Right? It's their first time growing a company to this level.
Right.
It's their first time. So they're going to F up sometimes and things are going to happen. And as long as everybody talks about it and is transparent and we all figure out how to solve it, that's what the journey is about.
Yeah.
Right? If you can hit your financial goals while being on that journey and you could be part of something bigger than just yourself, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's inspirational. I think that it's exciting to be a part of something that is bigger than yourself.
Yeah. And from the producers that are out there, a lot of times they just do everything on their own because they have no leadership training.
Right.
And they don't seek to be a good leader. They seek to just be a closer.
Right.
And just to make money. And it depends on what you want to do. You want to be a solo agent and just crush it? That's fine. Then maybe hire a marketing company.
Yeah.
Right? Don't hire an employee that is going to bank on paying for, putting food on their table for their family based on you. And then you have a change of heart and then you let them go. I don't believe in that.
Right.
Right. If you can do the best that you possibly can, to grow your business and give them the opportunity to grow their skill set, then you have a good effort. And at that point you can have a team member. If not, just hire a company that you have a 6-month contract with.
Yeah.
And,
then you're better off.
Because there is a lot of people like that.
I was just going to say
there's a lot
that,
of just producers that they end up trying to hire somebody and they shouldn't be hiring anybody. They should just be having contracts with a marketing agency that's not going to be reliant just on them because they're going to change their mind or stop making the investment in ads or whatever it is that they're doing. I think that's important in this world because the top 10% really are the ones that are doing 90% of the business. It's not even an 80-20 world. It's a 90-10 world in the world that we live in.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're going to get a Nino, make sure that, especially somebody that's going to start like you did. And I love that idea, right?
Yeah.
Because most people need to develop into, marketing and branding and learn the business and learn the avatar and learn the messaging and learn that team leader or that broker's messaging and what
Correct.
they want. And that's why you're successful in your role.
Yeah.
Because if you weren't here prior,
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't know as much about, all of the things that you do that help you in that role.
Oh, no, I 100% agree with that. I
Yeah.
think that had I not worked under Michelle and learned everything that I did back then, I don't think I would be able to serve my position now in the best way that I do now.
Right.
Because I do think I have an advantage.
Right. And it's so different, right? Things have changed so much.
Correct.
But having that foundation, I think, is important. So
Yeah.
if you want to hire somebody and you need help, do what you do best, delegate the rest. If you're like, I don't like marketing. Well, I like marketing. I don't like social media.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're like,
No,
Jon, you need to go into social media.
No, but
I don't even like going on social media. So if you see my social media, it's Nino and Joe that basically take care of the social media stuff.
Yeah. But it's funny because I had such a love for social media because I grew up with social media, right?
Yeah.
From MySpace to Facebook, then Instagram. Instagram is where I loved Instagram. It was like my favorite platform. This is way before video. This is way before what it is today. This is when you just had a grid and you posted your pretty pictures, like, like, here's my cool recipe. And I got into Instagram because I was on a crazy health journey and I was raw vegan at one point. And so I was posting smoothies all the time. And so like, that was exciting to me, like, taking the best photo, right? Like, and then putting it in its best light. And guess what? Social media changed a lot from when I started. And so nowadays, the role that I have, it's funny because I do a lot of social media on multiple platforms, but I actually am not the biggest fan of social media.
Social media sucks.
I just see it as a really, really
You have to do it
great
though.
tool.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a good thing because I think what I hear a lot of real estate agents talk about, like when I've done a couple of, I do training sometimes, and the biggest feedback I get is, I really hate social media. I don't know what to post. I don't know what to say. Why
Or
are
it takes
people?
too much time.
It takes too much time. And I get all of that.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
It takes a lot of time.
I don't do what I do because I'm obsessed with social media. I actually don't like it like that, or how.
Well, it's evolved into something I just feel like it's doing a lot of harm. That's
It
why.
is, yes. Yeah. And that's how I look at it too. So now I've changed my viewpoint, and not entirely, but I think it's great if you're using it for business. And if you're not using it for business,
don't get on it.
Don't get on it. Except for that ends up being like 90% of the population that's on it,
or
that
doom
ends up being your
scrolling.
clients. However, if you're now smart and you know that people are using it, and even if they don't have a business, 90% of people probably don't, and they're just using it just for entertainment, be the person that's using it for business. Be the person that's using it with intention.
Yeah.
To convert, to
social
get
media
clients
can
and
grow
get
your
your
business
name out there.
and make you go from invisible to very visible
Yes.
in your marketplace.
But you just want to do it for the right reason.
Yeah, and be smart, because that stuff is online forever.
Yeah.
Right. So, well, I think it was great to share your story, and hopefully it inspires some people to say, oh, okay, this is the person behind the social media and marketing. Like, I don't have to do everything myself. I can hire somebody. And that's great. I think it's a good message for people, and take your shot, right?
Yeah.
If you're somebody that's watching this and there's somebody that you do look up to and you want to work for them, take your shot. Go on their website. Even if they don't have a careers link on there, go and send a request through their lead form, and, see if they're open to ideas. And we're always big on seek to serve, right? And pay to play. You seek to serve other people first. You adapt to what it is that they're looking for so you can serve them. And then, continue to invest in your development, right? You can always, if you want to get really good at something, you can pay to play, right? You don't have to seek to serve. You can pay to play.
Right.
So depending on your situation, there's so many strategies for you to go out there and crush it. And if you are a top producing agent like Michelle and you want more people to know about you and you want to get constant referrals. I mean, I was just telling Dan Montana, like Michelle's phone doesn't stop ringing.
Yeah.
Like the amount of listings that she gets is ridiculous. All she does is go on listing appointments.
But it's a testimony.
Of course.
Right? It's a testimony to
20
the
years
years
later.
and years and years and years.
She deserves it.
She deserves it of how much she invested year after year after year after year after year into every type. And I think that's the best part. She didn't do just one street, like one platform. She did print marketing. She did ads. She did social media. She did magazines. She did billboards. She did YouTube. She did.
We had a show.
Everything you can possibly imagine. Like if you can buy an ad, PR, I'm pretty sure Michelle has done it.
Newspapers.
Placemats?
No diner placemats. Not diner placemats.
A billboard in Short Hills Mall, right?
Yes.
Like everything. And speaking engagements as well. That's huge too, right?
Live events.
When you get invited, go. Even if there's 10 people in the room, or if you're scared to get on stage, this is one thing she taught me, and it's be the local celebrity.
Yeah.
Of where either you live or where you want to do business. And you become the local celebrity by being involved in everything that town has to offer, including grabbing your coffee at the local coffee shop, going to the restaurants,
participating in the fairs as vendors.
Yep.
Giving
and
out
find
gear,
community groups.
Yeah. And if you said something free about public speaking, join Toastmasters, right? There's a group called Toastmasters. It's very inexpensive. You can go to their chapter and they teach you how to be a better public speaker, and you practice. Wow. Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know about that.
We're actually going to start one here, but just for realtors.
Oh, no.
We're going to do it right here, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know about that one.
But anyway, thank you guys for jumping on here and watching our podcast. Definitely follow us on the Signature Sip podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and check out some of our other episodes. Thanks a lot, and see you soon.